Hello everyone, Nika here with your daily neuro nugget. I hope you are having a wonderful Friday. It is the end of the week. We did it. For those of us who sometimes don't work weekends, beautiful day here, sunny in Chicago. And let's not waste any time. We have a lot of things to talk about. Now, it is essential we cover the potential of the crime scene and the DNA maybe being tampered with. And that could have been intentional or unintentional. Before we get started, yes, I have my fancy cup of tea and I have regular green tea, which I also steeped with the peels, yes, the peel of pineapples. It is very tasty. It is slightly diuretic, but the pineapple peel adds this amazing flavor to it. If you end up doing that, make sure that it is organic and make sure that it doesn't have that chemical, that new chemical created by Mr. Gates. Cheers. I wanted to make this video today because it has been on my mind. I have seen so many comments lately in, well, really all over the internet talking about the touch DNA. And it just makes me realize that a lot of people don't know how it works, and that is okay, but you have to remember the scientific method and touch DNA is not allowed to be used in military courts. Why? Because, well, we can't really rely on it. So I'm going to be covering some sciencey details on the DNA that was found at 1122 King Road that was linked to Brian Kohberger. So first of all, what is touch DNA? Okay, this means it's not really any blood, any sort of body fluid. It is skin cells, right? And so many people do not realize how much touch DNA was found on this K-Bars snap button. If you have not watched my video where I show you my K-bar from when I was in the military up close, please go watch that so you can get a sense of how small this button is. Very tiny. Now, they found 19 picograms of DNA, of touch DNA. All of the studies that I have looked, including forensic websites, show that you need at the very minimum 100, but they prefer you have 100 to 200 at a minimum, and 500, of course, is better. Why? Because the more picograms of DNA, the more you can test, and you want to be able to retest, not only retest, but also come to the same conclusion, because then that means, yes, that is probably 100% accurate. Now, if they only have 19 picograms out of the 1 to 200 they need, that's not scientifically accurate. That is like me telling you that you took a cancer test and it is only really less than 20% accurate. Would you be comfortable if I told you, yeah, we did this test that's less than 20% reliable? So you know what? We are going to treat you nonetheless. No, of course you would not be okay with that. So why should we allow these 19 picograms of DNA to be even used at trial? Should we? That is something to consider, right? Because it is potentially not scientifically accurate. So this is what happens when forensic experts test this DNA and there is not plenty of picograms, aka 1 to 200 picograms, to test and hopefully retest. Well, how do they get the answer if there isn't enough? So scientists use this thing called guessing. Yes, they guess. They basically are allowed to fill in the blanks. And if you've not watched my video on Othram, please go watch them. Are they even certified? Because the last time I checked, well, things were very sketchy. So would you like someone guessing if it was your life on the line? Let me know down in the comments below, please. By the way, do we even actually know if it was the K-bar that was the weapon of choice? Because when the coroner talked, well, she said the wounds were quite severe and the K-bar also had no other DNA, right? Is it possible that maybe it was actually another weapon? Could it have been machetes or Ethan's golf clubs or hatchets? Read the descriptions of the wounds and then get back to me. I have a K-bar. A lot of damage can be done with a K-bar, but I don't know about how severe these wounds actually were, because we are only reading the descriptions, and to me they sound quite severe. To me, it sounds like machetes, golf clubs, hatchets, not just a K-bar. So no, we don't actually know if a K-bar was even used. Not only that, the K-bar had no other DNA. There was DNA found in other areas of the house, but no other DNA. That is a very clean sheath on this K-bar, right? So how did that happen exactly? Because when we read the legal documents, what do we see? We see allegedly that this sheath was found close to one of the victims. So how were there no other body fluids? You're gonna tell me there was nothing on that. That is a very clean sheath, except for a tiny button. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like somebody could have pre-cleaned this sheath and placed it there. Because how in the world are you going to explain that there are no other sources of DNA on this sheath? Is that even believable? Because if you believe that, well, wow. That's all I'm gonna say. And let's not forget, right, that from the beginning, Moscow PD selected a cop with no experience in investigating a quadruple victim crime. And they also pre-planned to arrest Mr. Kohberger, because we see them stopping him several times. There also are 0 recorded interviews. Lucky for them, right? Reminds me of the sticker case. Yeah, go watch that video, please. And we also know that there is a judge who is severely biased and said himself that he was being sarcastic during a hearing when a man's life was on the line. Why is he still there? That behavior is completely unacceptable. So when you put all of these things together, it does make me wonder, will Mr. Brian Christopher Kohberger even have a chance with these sort of tactics being used? Thankfully, I think he has a very good team and they are extremely confident. And personally, I was very glad to hear Mr. Edelman, the psychologist, go to one of the hearings and present himself. And he comes across as extremely confident, as somebody who is not easily intimidated. And the great thing about having degrees in psychology is that you are very good, you can be very good at reading people and seeing people's hidden biases that they may not even be aware that they have themselves. So I think Mr. Edelman was very good when he entered at reading the courtroom, at reading the judge, at reading the state, the prosecution. So it will be very interesting to have more of these legal experts, and we'll see if we get a trial date soon. It will be very interesting to keep up with all of this information. So I hope you guys have a beautiful weekend. I hope that you guys continue to leave these beautiful comments for me down below, because I love reading them. And plus, it's the weekend. And I've had people also leave messages saying that they are overwhelmed with this case. And as somebody who has several degrees in psychology, I'm going to, of course, always say, go take care of you. Your mental health comes first. And also send my videos to your loved ones if you want, so that they can watch them. I think a lot of people have difficult time grasping how touch DNA works. A lot of Americans especially we are very closed-minded. We definitely are. And a lot of us, when we hear DNA, we immediately assume that person did it, right? In this case, Mr. Kohberger. So teach people around you. I think education is the way to help, in this case, educate people. And that's all we can really do for the moment. A lot of people have also said that I should try to reach out to Ann Taylor. Unfortunately, I work 80, sometimes 90-hour weeks. So if you guys want to do something yourself, feel free to do whatever you want. But I am not promoting you to do anything or to not do anything. My only goal is to expose the truth and educate, because also as somebody who has a scientific background, and I know I'm very blessed in that way, it is kind of frustrating to see people just hear DNA and say, he did it, it's only his DNA, which, yes, it is false. There are other sources of male DNA in this house. So please, Judge and Billy, I want autopsy reports. We need to know how these victims were treated in their last moments. Why? So that we can find justice for them. Meaning we have to find the possible weapons, meaning we have to test the unknown male DNA, meaning we have to educate the public on how touch DNA works. And just because you touch something does not mean you unalive 4 people. Keep that in mind. So I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Let me know down, what do you think of touch DNA? Would you like it to be used against you in a potential criminal trial where your life is on the line? Remember, they found 19 picograms. They need 1 to 200, 100 to 200. Are you comfortable with those numbers? If you are, I think you may be part of the problem. So wishing you all a beautiful weekend, and see you soon.